I'm going to go through using some exponent rules to simplify. One of our first strategies is we want to take the reciprocal. I'm going to make that y to the negative 6 in the top, 2x squared in the bottom, and we can take the reciprocal of this fraction to turn this negative exponent into a positive exponent. Next, I'm going to go with cross the line to change the sign. I like the exponent on 2, it's to the positive 1. I like the exponent on x, it's a positive, but negative exponents are not simplified. So I'm going to take this y to the negative 6 and cross the fraction bar line and change that 6 to a positive. So that is going to give me 2 is still there, x squared is still there, but now I have y to the 6th. Everything has moved out of the numerator, so there's still a 1 there to the power of 2. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is power to a power, multiply. Right, so power to a power multiply. Let's emphasize some of these exponents. The exponent on 1 is 1, and the exponent on 2 is also 1. So going through power to a power multiply, 1 times 2 is 2, so that's 1 squared. 2, 1 times 2 is 2x, 2 times 2 is 4, and then y to the 6, 6 times 2 is 12, so y to the 12th. Then finish simplifying there. 1 squared, 1 times 1 is 1. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. I still have x to the 4th and y to the 12th. All right, so now for these next couple of problems that are here, one of the things that's crucial when you're applying these rules, and I think it's just a good idea at the very beginning to decide if your final answer is negative or positive. So in this one right here, notice this negative number is being raised to an odd exponent. So I know right away that my final answer is going to be negative. So I'm going to go ahead and put this giant negative over here to remind me when I'm all done, this is negative. Now in this case, this negative 3 is to an even. And so if I have an even amount of negatives, my final answer is going to be positive. Now everything else I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to emphasize that the exponent on 1, or excuse me, on the 2 there is to the first power. I'm going to come in, I like the 5 here, but I don't like this negative 2 can stay. Again, we're not crossing the line to change the sign on just any number. We're only doing that to get rid of negative exponents. So this negative 2 stays in the top. The x to the 6th stays there in the top. Now I'm going to cross the fraction bar line to change the sign of this exponent so that y is moving to the bottom and now it's to the second power. Okay, then let's go with power to a power multiply. One more time emphasizing that this 2 is to the first. So if I have negative 2, 1 times 5 is 5. If you forget to put the parentheses here, this is where you can accidentally make a sign error. So I know my final answer already is negative. And then power to a power multiply, 6 times 5 is 30. And then y, 2 times 5 is 10. And then my final answer here, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. So I have negative 32 x to the 30th all over y to the 10th. I prefer for final answers to put my negative with the bottom, out to the side. So I'm going to put that out to the side and I have my final answer. Okay, so let's do just one more here. All right, so I have a positive 2, so I like that. And then my negative 3 is to the first power. So I like that. Everything right now is in the numerator. Like that positive exponent. This one I don't like because the negative exponent. So I need to cross the fraction bar line and change the sign on the exponent. So that moved to the bottom. This y right now is to the first power. It's a positive exponent. I like that, so I'm gonna leave it right where it's at. Okay, then let's go through and do power to a power multiply. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. Y, 1 multiplied by 2, y to the second over 2 times 2 is 4, x to the fourth. One more time, I know that this is final answer is positive because I had a negative number raised to an even power. So I have a positive answer. Negative 3 squared is 9. Y squared over x to the fourth. There's quite a few different ways to apply your power rules, but there's one example.